Also, and this is another important thing I think to bear in mind, I think a lot of the time when it comes to these vegan sorts of things and these expansion of coconut plantations in the east and so on, and even soy in the Amazon and this sort of stuff, I think a lot of that ends up getting backed by a deeply nefarious corporate agenda that focuses on things like the profits of oil companies and so on. And because the coconut plantations in the east and what used to be Indonesian, for instance, rainforest, that all goes along with the production of palm oil and things like this. And they've been wanting for decades to slice away the rainforest, cut or destroy the rainforest to cultivate palm oil so we can use that for diesel instead of drilling crude oil, and also instead of doing the fucking thing that we should have done in the first place when we started using petrochemicals derived from crude oil in internal combustion engines, which is of course deriving our oil from fucking cannabis. Since we can do that, we can gain as much oil as we'd ever need to use from cannabis, and we can grow cannabis in the desert, but we can also grow it in Scandinavia. So it can grow almost anywhere, produce fuel for us, produce an innumerable array of other things that we need, building materials, textiles, livestock feed, whatever else we want basically from it, plastic. And I've just been reading now, I've been reading up on biokerosene because I'm building a jet-powered and rocket-powered space elevator or not building it, but designing it. I've been looking into trying to use biofuels for it, so to reduce its carbon footprint and so on. And it's just coming up with like coconut oil prospects for biokerosene. So like what goes along with vegan arguments very often, I think, and supporting a lot of it is like backhanded oil company money, right? Because they want to gather a support base, a base of, I'm sorry to say, usually like young, impressionable, gullible human beings who are willing to, jump on an erroneous ideological ticket that kind of seeks to justify the yet more deforestation in these parts of the world, and more cutting down the rainforest for not really for coconut products for humans, but for palm oil for our engines and coconut oil for aircraft eventually, I suppose. And it's more like those sorts of things that underpin it all. Whereas like we should, as I said, be using cannabis, and we could still, if we really wanted to, we could start producing engines that burn bioethanol instead of diesel, right? Or instead of petrol. And this is why they wanted prohibition back in the day. This is why they wanted to ban alcohol back in the day. Not anything to do really with the health effects of alcohol, or not in the realpolitik of it. It's not in like the way that it was really lobbied for, I imagine. But like Rockefellers and so on, trying to sell oil, Standard Oil, and so on, back in the turn of the 20th century, in the early 20th century. Very likely, I suspect, that trying to ban alcohol such that we don't start burning it in cars, because then we can just have a mixture, right, of bioethanol and petrochemicals. Then we just got a mixture of 95% ethanol and 5% petrochemical, right, or 5% petrol, and then we can just sit on our reserves of crude oil if we start doing that. We don't need to burn nearly as much of it. But did we do that? No. Because the Rockefellers don't want it to be cheap exactly, do they? They want it. They wanted it to be expensive. They wanted to monopolize the fuel market, basically. Oil companies are scum, ladies and gentlemen. Who knew?